Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What's going on, Lock Shoppers? Thank you once again for hopping on with us here on a Monday. We'll recap Sunday. We'll get to Monday Night Football, Bengals and Browns tonight. That is on the way. And, of course, we'll let you know everything that disappointed us from Sunday as well. The Lock Shop brought to you by our great partners at Coolbet. Sign up for an account today. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you do. Haas, not much disappointed you yesterday. Not much. That was close, bud.
Well, the only thing that disappointed me was that garbage backdoor cover by the Packers by one stinking half point to prevent 4-0 in the best bets. Obviously, I parlayed those. But I will tell you, dude, the roller coaster of the two parlays that I gave out on the Saturday show, which both cashed plus 549 on one, plus 622 on the others. I was exhausted going into that Bills game. And to be honest, and maybe we'll get to this when Jake jumps on, we can talk about this game. One of the most bizarre gambling roller coasters I can remember in recent NFL history was that Panthers-Falcons game yesterday. That was one way, then it was the other. I mean, neither of these teams wanted to win the game, to be perfectly honest with you. Didn't get the money line on that, but did get the cover, which cashed one of those two parlays. So it was a great week, but it could have been all-time incredible if the Bills had just held on and, either not given up. I would have taken a missed extra point on that last touchdown, for crying out loud.
Yes, exactly. Just brutal. Brutal. The Raiders are dead to me. The Raiders are 100% dead to me. I mean, not only do they did nothing. I had them on that one with the over the point total, had them as one of my best bets, and they get shut out by a Saints defense that had not been good for like a week. Josh McDaniels, after apologizing to Raiders Nation, they've now still just got 2 wins on the season. Devontae Adams had 1 catch for 3 yards. They tried having him run the ball once. None of it makes sense to us. That was bizarro world for me yesterday. I was watching that game fall apart, and I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
It was an absolute no-show by the Silver and Black at the Superdome yesterday. I mean, one of the most embarrassing games and performances we've seen by a team that, had everything to play for right now. I mean, the Chargers have been weak. The Broncos have been weak. I mean, we thought, like, there's 2 teams right now in the AFC that seemingly are above everyone else, in Buffalo and Kansas City. Everything else is wide open, but I mean, the Raiders have just put themselves in a hole, and they're not getting out of it anytime soon with garbage performances like they had yesterday. That was rough, and I knew they were going to be number 1 on your personal shit list. And man, I co-sign all of that, considering what we saw yesterday.
It's a bad day when my wife gets to hear about it. I'm just like, man, Huss is cruising on a perfect day. I said, if we get the Bills tonight, minus 10.5, it's all good, except for the Raiders. And I went off on the Raiders for like 10 minutes. She's like, I don't care. I don't care about any of this. And I was like, well, you should. They got shut out. So it was tough. Jake Bullen-Moss from Coolbet sliding in today with us as well. Let's find out how his Sunday went. Jake, how was your Sunday, buddy?
Fellas, rough one. I was on the Raiders as well. So
yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I was out at a bar with some friends, and I kind of took it easy Saturday night, but my one buddy was pretty in one, and he said to me, he's like, Raiders tomorrow. That's the play. And I was like, okay. I kept that with me. I was like, oh, I guess I'll bet the money line. And yeah, they got shut out. They were never even in the game. So yeah, that was a good feeling. Probably shouldn't trust the drunk guy at the bar giving you.
Did you have a piece of that Carolina Atlanta game?
No, I didn't. Actually, sorry, I had Foreman rushing yards, which hit with ease, but I didn't have a side. I can imagine overbettors were loving the way that kind of ended there, and but obviously not good for the Carolina bettors, especially money line bettors. Just disgusting miss from Pinheiro there.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you had Carolina money line, you're just completely out of your mind. Just for folks that missed this game, like 3 minutes left in the game, Carolina is up 4. Atlanta promptly runs all the way down. They get a touchdown. There's still a bit of time left, but just under 2 minutes, I think. So they're up by 3 now. Carolina gets the ball back. They do nothing with it. They've got a 4th and 17. They go for it. DJ Moore hits him right in the hands. He drops it. All they needed to do was catch that pass. The cover is done. Well, no, they turn the ball over on their own 20. So what happens? Timeout, run the football. They kick a field goal to go up 6. And you go, I cannot believe Carolina blew this. And I was pissed. I tweeted about DJ Moore. Guy's dead to me.
This is hilarious. I loved it.
And literally, as I tweeted that out, within 30 seconds, DJ Moore catches a 60-yard Hail Mary to tie the game. We invoked the miracle, but what we forgot is that sometimes these guys lose complete composure in big moments. He immediately takes off his helmet, starts stunting around the end zone, takes the 15-yard penalty, which makes the extra point a 48-yarder, which goes wide. We're going to overtime. At this point, I'm fully expecting Atlanta to get a touchdown and win by 6 and to lose the total and the side. Luckily, that didn't happen. Mariota threw a pick. Carolina goes in. Here we go. Kick to win. The guy misses again. Luckily, at that point, the only thing the Falcons needed was a field goal. They go down, get it. Atlanta wins by 3. Panthers cover. An all-time gambling roller coaster through the better part of about 20 minutes. The witching hour was a little calm, but it wasn't in that game, guys. And, I'll be remembering that one for a while.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, you explained it perfectly. It was the craziest game probably, definitely this week. I mean, maybe all season. I don't know. It's obviously recency bias, but another one yesterday, the Giants, they're dead to me. I had them plus 10 in a 3-team teaser, and the fact that they couldn't cover 10 is just crazy to me. Are the Seahawks for real or the Giants just frauds? I don't know. I still can't figure that out just yet. So
I think I'd probably lean more to the Seahawks being for real, to be honest with you. Like they look. I love Tyler Lockett taking a shot at Russ after the game, saying it's amazing what you can do when nobody cares about who gets the success or whatever it was along those lines. Like the fact that the Seahawks aren't even hiding the fact that they hated Russ anymore. It's amazing to me.
That entire dynamic between Russ and his ex-teammates and Russ and his current teammates is one of the more fascinating stories you'll have in the NFL. I'm not going to dump on Russ, though, too much. They got the win. That was part of one of those 2 parlays. So I'm going to take it easy from piling on. Enough people are doing that already. But how excited was he at the end of that interview to go, oh, Broncos country. That's right.
That's right.
He stares down the camera a little on the way back. I mean, hey, he stays on brand every interview, no matter what.
You know, we can't give him credit for staying on brand. I mean, that guy knows who he wants to be and pretends to be it all the time. It's absolutely amazing. Jake, what are you looking at tonight, buddy? Bengals and Browns. Anything that jumps off the page for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're going to get into our favorite primetime bet, so I won't even mention it. I know Husk is going to get into that. I got a few things going on. 1:30, our 27 days of football pick comes out, so yes. I don't want to expose that one either. The one I am looking at, Hayden Hurst over 3.5 receptions. I think it's minus 133 right now. He's been a nice safety blanket for Burrow to start this season. A couple games with 6+, with 6. I think a couple games with 5, and then a couple lower level games, but then no Chase, right? So you think it's probably going to be big Higgins, big Boyd game, but then I look at that third level safety blanket check down kind of guy in Hayden Hurst. I think he could probably pick up 4 receptions, no problem tonight. So that's one that I kind of had my eye on. Line's a little fishy to me. You think the Bengals should be favored by maybe a bit more. So I think I'd lean Browns if I'm going side, but I think the one play I'm definitely going to be on is that Hurst reception line.
Yeah, it is going to be fascinating to see exactly how the balls are distributed in the absence of Jamar Chase. I mean, he's such a huge, huge part of that Bengals offense, which really has been rolling for the better part of the last month after a little bit of a pedestrian start. So, is it Higgins? Is it Boyd? I do think that tight end position becomes far more relevant in the Bengals offense without Jamar Chase in this game tonight.
Yeah, I would agree as well. It's something that we're going to dive into as we get to our best bets. Jake, thanks a lot for popping by, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, boys, enjoy.
Go field goals.
Jake Bolin Moss. You can find him on Twitter. I just had Jake Bolin Moss. That's where you can track him down. Give him a follow over there. All right, Huss, let's get into it. Monday Night Football, buddy. And we're going to ride together on Cincinnati Bengals tonight, -3. It is an interesting line, that's for sure. It's sitting at 3 right now over at CoolBet. Where do you come out on this one, man?
Well, first off, they are begging us to take the Browns right now. And it's interesting, honestly, much of the time, you'll go move from 3 and it'll get to 3.5, or it'll get to 2.5. And I don't remember seeing this before, but right now, if you want an alternate line off of 3, you're either going 4.5 or you're going to 1.5. So the number is 3. And the number is 3, and I don't think it is going to change, barring an avalanche of money coming in on Cincinnati and them having to move it up, at which point everything will come back on the Browns. Cincinnati, my pick, I'm taking the Bengals, and it comes down to this, even without Jamar Chase. The Bengals absolutely throttled the Atlanta Falcons just a couple weeks back. We saw the Falcons and the Browns play each other, and those are basically the same team right now.
Exactly.
They don't have a ton going on in the air. They run the ball quite a bit. They will lean on their running game to keep them in. And that's another reason why I do like the under in this one. I'm not sure. I think Cincinnati's offense certainly takes a little bit of a hit when it comes to the explosiveness and the big play possibility with Jamar Chase out. But I do know that Cleveland is going to try and give it to Nick Chubb and move the football with Kareem Hunt and try and not put it all on the arm of Jacoby Brissett. The other thing about the Bengals is they're very, very well coached. And on the defensive side of the football, I'm not sure they've allowed a touchdown in the second half this year.
Nope, they have not allowed a touchdown. I can confirm that. I looked it up today. No touchdowns allowed second half.
So when you think about the way the defense is playing after they've been in the game for a little while, the lack of real pop from the Cleveland offense, I think I like the Cincinnati Bengals to cover this number. Listen, if this ends in a push, I won't be surprised. And I think that's part of the reason why we see the bookmakers completely steadfast on keeping this game to 3. But I am going to take the Bengals. I will lay it. I got it -118 a little earlier. Now, as I mentioned, it's gone to -125. Cleveland right now, if you want to take the 3, they're +106. I just think the Bengals right now are in another level of the Browns as far as the teams all around. I love what their defense does, and they seem to get better throughout their games. And as we've seen before, the Cleveland Browns, while they've had their moments, they've also found ways to lose games that they had no business doing. I don't think they've got much business of winning this game, so I don't expect them to do it. Give me the under 45.5 and give me Cincinnati -3.
You nailed it out. The main place I was going to go is Atlanta is very similar to the Cleveland Browns, and the Bengals just dismantled the Atlanta Falcons. So when I saw that, I look at them. You're right. They're dying for us to take the Browns right now. And I can see why some people might want to hop on that because, no Jamar Chase or anything like that. But since the slow start, Cincinnati Bengals offense is basically number 2 in the league since the first couple of games where you're like, hey, they don't look too great. I know they're going to miss Jamar Chase, but this is just elevated for Higgins. It's elevated for Boyd. Maybe it's a little bit more Joe Mixon. I don't even mind the Hurst play that Jake threw out a little bit earlier on. And the fact that Cincy hasn't allowed a touchdown in the second half blows my mind, to be honest with you. It's extremely impressive. And against a one-dimensional Browns team, I don't think that's going to all of a sudden be much easier for them as well. So I'm on Cincy -3. I'm going to say thank you very much to this. And then I was a little torn on the total. I think it's going to be close to 45.5. I'm going to go Cincy. I'm going to take a team total on this one instead. I'm going to go Cincy over 23.5 yards against a Browns defense that really can't stop anything. I mean, this is not a Browns team that, they get torched in the pass, but they can stop the run. They can't do anything defensively. So I'm going to roll with Cincinnati over 23.5. Do you think this number is significantly different if Jamar Chase is healthy? Is it like a 26.5, or is it basically going to be this no matter what?
No, I think it would probably be on the other side of 24 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're probably talking 24.5, which is a pretty significant, bump
Yeah,
up. But
that's a big
24
spot.
is a common number. Whether it would be getting up to like 2 and 3 points, probably not. But I would say for sure a point and a half on the team total, probably tied in to one of the most lethal playmakers in the NFL.
All right, where are you going for props tonight, buddy?
Well, I'm gonna first of all, this is sort of something we talked about with Jake. I mean, where's the ball going out of Joe Burrow's hands? He's rolling right now, but no Jamar Chase. Hurst, I think, probably gets a few more looks for targets. When it comes to yards, though, I'm gonna go with Tyler Boyd. Now, the total right now, I got it over 61.5 at even money. Right now, you can get it at 60.5 at -110. But you look back just to his last 5 games. He's gone over that total 3 of the 4 games. Now, the Baltimore game was a little quiet and the Miami game in the middle. But for the Jets game, he caught 4 of 5. And when he doesn't need a lot of catches to get 60 yards. I mean, he consistently goes for 15 or 20 per catch. So, I mean, last week was an absolutely monster game against Atlanta. He had 155 yards on 8 receptions, 9 targets, almost averaging 20 a pop. I think that just with Chase out, he's probably good for another 2 or 3 targets a game. And if that's the case, I think we're really in a good spot to get the over. So I'm going to take Tyler Boyd over on the receiving yards. As I said, right now it's at 60.5. I got it at even money over 61.5. And what we mentioned, this is the bet that has just kept on winning. I'm surprised. It always takes a while for the number to come out.
And it always comes up the same.
It's always plus 125. But with the success rate in primetime games of the over 3.5 field goal prop and knowing the two teams that are playing, how could we not jump on it again and cheer for the kickers once again tonight, folks? So over 3.5 field goals plus 125. The primetime field goal fest prop is in effect, and it still hasn't gone down despite being like 12-5 or something on the year, or at least it was last week. Mediocre teams in prime time means field goals. Give me the over 3.5, and we'll be cheering for Evan McPherson and his Cleveland counterpart all night long.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good one. I saw when the email came in, you're like, I don't know what the number is yet, but we're on the over 3.5 field goals. And then I refreshed and I saw, plus 125 again. Thank you very much. Plus 125. It's insane. All right, so I'm going to go Higgins over 76.5. I think both of us cash these tonight. I like your Boyd play. I like the Higgins play. Joe Burrow's throwing for 250 yards tonight. So I like both of these. Now, I was debating the Higgins one because you can get better value on the 5.5 targets. And he's been at 5 or more in like 6 straight games. But then I thought, T. Higgins could get 50 yards on one bomb and finish the game with 4 catches for 90 yards. So I decided to go with the over 76.5 here with Chase out. You're going to see more Boyd. You're going to see more Higgins. And then my other one's going to be Jacoby Brissett over 19.5 completions at -123. Now, depending on how this game script goes, and they still find a way to mix in a ton of Nick Chubb anyway, even when they are losing. But Jacoby Brissett has completed at least 21 passes in 6 straight games. And this should be a game script that sets up for him to have to throw just as much, if not more, in some of those other games. So the fact that he's completed at least 21, 6 in a row, and now you're getting a game where I would expect them to be down by 10, at least some point late first half. I mean, as long as he doesn't have a god-awful night, I think he's going to have the attempts to get to the completions at over 19.5. So let's go Jacoby Brissett over 19.5 on the game script that we might see tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. A perfect Halloween matchup. A lot of orange, a lot of orange, a lot of black. I can't wait to see what these costumes are like in the dog pound. Can we get a number on that? Like some of the amount of dogs in the pound tonight, I think is going to be, I'll take the over on that. I'll take the over on number of beers drank at the Cleveland tailgate beforehand, and hopefully over on the field goals. To me, this field goal prop is made for games like this. I'm almost almost nervous because I feel too good about this bet for this game tonight.
All right, there you go. That's going to do it. Monday Night Football with the Lock Shop. If you've been watching on the live stream, make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. Just search the Lock Shop on all of your podcasting platforms. We would appreciate the sub over there. Huss, enjoy the game tonight, buddy. We'll talk some fantasy football tomorrow.
Right on, Dusty.